My fellow Gambians, this is Tukulor C, speaking to you from the United States. If you remember, on December 1st, you made history by defeating a dictator through the ballot box. And like we say, the rest is history. If you remember, Yahya Jammeh and his APRC party tried to bribe you, and you said no. You chose democracy and freedom over money. And today, here we are, we have a very young democracy. Now that we are where we are, another very important election cycle is upon us, which is the National Assembly. As you know, many laws that Yahya Jammeh enacted during his 22 years of tyranny need to be changed. And for those changes to be effective, we need to make sure that once again, you use your minds and you don't go with your heart because you belong to a regular party. Go into that booth thinking clearly, and think about this. You know, if I vote for this candidate, what difference will they make in changing our constitution? If I change for this person, will there be a rubber stamp parliamentarian who will just vote based on their party affiliation? You say to yourself, if I vote for this individual, will they be there for Gambia or will they be there for their party? These are very, very important questions to ask yourself. Right now, I will tell you right now, I'm supporting several candidates and I'm going to tell you each person's name and why I'm supporting them and their constituency. I will start with Fatoumata Jawara, but we all call her Fatoumata Jawara. Fatoumata Jawara is running for UDP in the Talinding constituency. And this is why I'm supporting Fatoumata. Fatoumata, I remember it was on February, I think, she came on Banka Mane's show on Fatu Radio. This was when, February last year, when Yahya Jammeh was in power, when people were afraid of going out. She went out at a UDP rally and spoke about what's happening in Gambia. She spoke about, you know, lack of democracy, lack of, unfairness in our political arena. That's the day I fell in love with this woman. Then when Solo Sandeng went out, on April 14, Fatoumata Jawara went out with Solo. She was arrested, tortured, and horrible things happened to her. If this was any other woman, a woman that is afraid, she would have said, no, 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 I have suffered enough. I am not going to run for office. But guess what she did? If anything, she said, no, 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 I do not want to relive what I lived through. She decided to run for parliament. And by running for parliament, Fatoumata Jawara of Talinding Kunjang, guess what she's going to do? She's going to make sure that we do not have laws that would bring the suffering upon other Gambians like she endured under Yahya Jammeh. So I would urge people in that constituency to please vote for Fatoumata Jawara, UDP candidate. My next candidate is Touma Njie, Banjul South. Touma, yesterday during a debate, actually Touma is the only candidate from Banjul South who showed up to that debate. And that showed me that her opponents have either given up or were afraid of challenging a brilliant, intelligent woman like Touma. Touma said during the campaign, during the broadcast yesterday, that she had a $38,000 job and then she went to England to study, but decided to come back. Many of us, when we leave Gambia, we don't go back. We want to stay here, you know, and earn more money. She went back home. And not only did she go back home, she went from $38,000 salary to a $3,000 salary. And Touma said she did it because of country. Now, that is somebody I would vote for if I lived in Banjul South. Touma also said she's going to invest in early childhood education. And I believe it, because Touma, you know, up to this date, if Touma had an opportunity, she would go back and learn again. And Touma, somebody like her, will make sure that what she has learned, your children learn it. There's a saying somewhere that lend me your children until they are 8 and then you can do anything with them later. You know, this is an American who told me that, and I asked why, and the person said, because children up to the age of 8, if you do not give them the basic educational skills they need, those children after that, it will be very difficult to have them be challenging in school. So to me, when somebody says to me, I want to make sure that they're, you know, I fight to make sure that our government puts out a budget that's going to support early childhood education. And she didn't mean this to be for just Banjul South. She's saying for the country. That is somebody I would like to see in our National Assembly. And I will also tell you something about, a secret about Touma Njie. She's my sister. Touma is somebody who is not influenced by anybody. She's running under PPP, but I'm telling you right now, she goes into the National Assembly, she is going to, you know, vote in the interest of the Gambia, not her party. And she said that yesterday during the debate. My next candidate is Auntie Amie Sillah. This is a woman, I will be very honest, I didn't know much about her until, you know, I did research. And then I also heard her speak. For the first time, I heard this woman say, you know, I do not want any of the money that I'm going to earn in the National Assembly. I will take that money and invest it in Bundunkakunda, my constituency. She said, because that constituency is in shambles and needs a lot of repair and facelift. So what that means is when that woman gets paid her money, she's going to take that money and invest it in the community. Now, what more can you think of? Then I heard Amie Sillah said, she had a very, very smart child. And that is because her and her husband, you know, invested in a lot, teaching the child at home, and the child became very, very bright. But then she sat there and said, well, if my son is this bright, I wish this for other children. And then so she became one of the pioneers of the Nyakoi school system. And the rest is history. A lot of people actually in the diaspora are telling, you know, were inboxing me when I did a Facebook profile on Amie Sillah. And they were saying, oh, yeah, I went to her school. You know, some are saying that they're doctors. Some are saying they're into computer science and things like that because of Nyakwe school. So this is a person who I think, and not only that, she's an activist that was doing her thing when Yahya Jammeh was around. Amie Sillah was going around and, you know, empowering women. And think about that. She was empowering women during the time Yahya Jammeh was there. Not only that, she was not afraid. She was out there doing her thing, you know, teaching women how to be politically active so that tomorrow, you know, they can also sit in the National Assembly. So to me, I'm seeing Amie Sillah and I'm saying, oh, okay, so all these female candidates I am talking about must have been inspired by this woman. So this is somebody I feel we need in the National Assembly, because not only will she be a role model for women, but she will also be somebody who will make sure that our, you know, our constitution favors Gambia at large, and then it will not be there. And I know for a fact that she will not be one of those people who will be part of a rubber stamp parliament. So please vote for Amie Sillah, Bundukakunda constituency. The other person I am going to talk about, I am very passionate about her because I came to know Aminata Correa, PPP candidate for Latrikunda Sabiji. I came to know Aminata through my work with her in the marketing team, which is like the, you know, if you see the Facebook page for Adama, President Barrow, and the Twitter and stuff, Aminata and I worked in that team. But before that, I also worked with her with the Coalition 2016 campaign. Aminata followed, you know, candidate Barrow then from Barra. They started, if you remember, they crossed and went to Barra. From Barra up to the time he came back to the Combos, she did not go home. She stayed through the whole thing. Not only that, later on somebody else told me, oh, by the way, while Aminata was doing all of that campaigning, she used a lot of her own resources. She also used a lot of her own money to eat and stuff. And actually, Aminata was using her phone, buying credit, sending me pictures for the Coalition 2016 Facebook page. A lot of the pictures that are there were provided by Aminata Correa. So this is somebody who was very much vested in making sure that dictatorship leaves. In one of my conversations with her in the group, Aminata was saying, oh yeah, they used to report me to Yahya Jammeh, you know, because, and she used to be afraid of being at her home. But she still, that did not stop her. She still was out there fighting for democracy. Not only that, sometimes in that group, we'll be having conversations and we'll be trying to make decisions and we will kind of, you know, be debating. Aminata comes into the conversation and she would give us a very direct, simple answer. And then we all will be like, oh, okay, we'll go with that. To me, that is an example of leadership, patience, And guess what you need to be a National Assembly member? You need to be able to be independent. You need to be able to be a good thinker. Aminata also said something the other day when she was on Fatu Radio, which was, she goes to the market in Abuko. She said when it rains, you know, human feces and urine, you know, runs through the water that goes into the market. Guess what? That also gets into the food you eat. And so she talked about that. And you know, summing up Aminata, I am saying right now, not only is she capable of sitting in that National Assembly, this is somebody who has a steady hand. We need women like her in our National Assembly, because anywhere you have women, you will have a group of people who will think like mothers, who will think like sisters and aunties. They think, you know, you heard the word, it takes a village. What about is this. Right now, we have APRC. APRC has put up candidates. My fellow Gambians, I am pleading with you, do not vote for APRC. Because a vote for APRC is saying that you believed in a party that peddled, that celebrated the ideologies of Yahya Jammeh, a party that selected a president who killed, maimed, disappeared our people. Today, every day we sit here crying, Yahya Jammeh is gone, but we're still crying. Then please, fellow Gambians, I'm begging you, I am begging you, to please not vote for APRC, because that is a party that oppressed us. Vote for any party you like, but do not vote for APRC. For me, I don't care which party it is. If I hear of any party that has a candidate that favored APRC and only left APRC when Yahya Jammeh left, I'm saying shame on them, because APRC should be a thing of the past, not the present. I hear people saying people have a right to cross carpet and stuff. That's okay. But what I'm saying is, you can cross carpet, but I do not want to see somebody who had APRC ideologies in our National Assembly, because this young democracy needs to be celebrated. This young democracy also, we have victims who need justice. And for you to have justice, you need to make sure that the enemy doesn't have a hand in the process that will bring you the justice you deserve. My prayers to all the victims and the survivors. And I'm going to say this. I work with a lot of them, and I've said this in many, many videos. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we're going to see and hear. When you hear anything, if you know any of these families, inbox them, talk to them, call them, because they need it. They don't need us. They don't need our sympathy, but they need our support. Thank you, and have a good day. And please, please, make sure when you go vote, don't vote because you belong to a party. Vote because of the qualification of the candidate. Vote for the most qualified candidate, because that is what is going to be a solid foundation of our young democracy. Thank you.